state nomination for the National Innovation Visa. 2 days ago, Queensland State Government Trade and Investment Department published information about state nomination, but they took it off again, I think because of a typo or whatever is that. But we did take a glance of what the information contains in the requirement. Basically, for state government, Queensland will actually nominate 3 type of candidates. Okay, 3 type of candidates will be under state nomination. One type of candidate who's a successful entrepreneur, that they want to establish their business in Australia. Second type of candidates is someone who's an investor who wants to invest into Australia. They did provide threshold. For first one, entrepreneur, that you need to have the you have to have an asset which is equity or something like that, 1 million of you can actually spend in Australia. And then you must demonstrate that you have your commitment to establish business in Australia, such as including that you have a Australian employee. Second, that you have registered company and registered office. And third one, that you have the ability, cash that you are able to transfer or spend for your business development. Of course, basically, you first of all need to meet Australia Department Home Affairs requirement of being a national innovation candidate. So you must be an entrepreneur, meaning the business itself you need to demonstrate you have intellectual properties, that you're a successful entrepreneur, that you have evidence reference letters from someone else that working in the industry. So as an entrepreneur, now lots of candidates ask me about this first stream. Say, entrepreneur, what's the difference between this state nomination and 188A visa, right? 188 visa, they actually require you to have asset of 1.25 million. So, but national innovation visa, they indicate just 1 million. What is the difference? Now, first of all, this is a national innovation visa. It's not business investment visa or business innovation. Business innovation visa 188, although it was called business innovation, at the end of the department did not attract candidates working in an innovative area, right? Candidate might be small business owners, they were able to get a temporary visa and then permanent visa at the end. So they actually drove away from initial intent for that program. So National Innovation Visa for the state nomination one under the Business Entrepreneur Visa, they actually redefine what's called innovation. So it's not any business. It cannot be just traditional business. Now, of course, they have priority lists, meaning they will prioritize candidates working in critical technologies, in smart energy, in biotech, right? So, or medical in area. Now, reason being that it's really, when you look at why they abolished 188 visa was because 188, 132 business visa was because really they did not attract what they intend to attract. At the end, people, just small business owner were able to come into Australia, and then they did actually not, probably some of them didn't actually start a company in Australia. They might hire someone to do that. So if you compare these two, 188 and then National Innovation Visa for the state nomination one, you can see that that's a difference there, right? So candidate has to basically meet that global talent national innovation visa requirement. Okay. Now second category will be someone who's an investor. They can be venture capitalists. They can be investing, the candidate used to invest into various different companies. They shared they have successful investment activities, right? They can be something like invest into a startup company, they went to IPO, or they invest into various different companies. Some of them acquire by another company, or the valuation increase a lot, or turnover increase a lot. That's a evidence that it doesn't have to be investor like venture capitalist. It can be an angel investor. It can be a sophisticated investor. So, but it's not someone who's, for instance, buying 2 houses. Or you could consider investor, well, not so much, right? We want someone who's sophisticated, right? whose investment portfolio has various of products in there. So this is some candidates under the state nomination, the second category. They need to demonstrate that cash of 5 million in Australia account. Okay, this is really different between the 180C and a National Innovation Visa state nomination, 5 million of cash. Now, for 180 visa, 180C, it's that significant one that you have to invest that 5 million to a product or combination of a few products, including properties, maybe including 30%, including startups. Now that cash needs to be invested out. Of course, it has to be meet compliance requirement. But for the National Innovation Visa, because it's not an investment visa, so they cannot ask you to demonstrate, first of all, where the money come from, right? But of course, it's you meet the requirement. You must make sure that you meet own requirement. But it's not requirement of the program. So state government, Queensland state government should ask you to show the commitment of investment for 2 years. Of course, if you ask me, what do you mean by commitment? If I have 5 million, but I do commit it, but 2 years later, I didn't actually invest anything, what am I going to do? Now, we are really looking at competitors, right? We are looking at when we submit application, when you submit application, who actually submit at the same time. If you don't have commitment, you have 5 million, but you have no plan on how you actually invest. You're not talking to any startups. You're not engaging with any companies. That we believe that the assessor may say, I don't think you have commitment. I don't think you're genuine, right? Genuinely have commitment. You see? So this is a requirement, but it depends on who's our competitor. If we have our competitor who also already invest 5 million, right, with a very similar kind of structure or allocation with 188C, in significant one, they probably definitely have a better position than you, right? Considering if we are in the same type of similar portfolio and background. So this is second one of state nomination. One is entrepreneur, second one is investor. Third one is someone who's actually programmers themselves, are particularly related to what Brisbane wanting, we're gonna hold the Olympic Games. We want athletes, right? Well, of course, coming years we want some athletes as well. We want someone, maybe coaches, and now the coaches, they were world-class athletes, and then they become coach, or they can be athletes now, because when you have when you're an athlete, probably you have contract with some of clubs, so you really can't you can't have a permanent residence somewhere else. That's a restriction for that. So coach athletes, or someone who's maybe a programmer, game developer themselves, or relate to this area. So this is their area. It's vague though. I encourage candidates to really approach us first, just to ask questions. Am I qualified for state nomination? Now, state nomination, this is not the only pathway for permanent residency. It's just a additional option for you to consider nomination. If you consider a profile really, really outstanding, and you don't have a personal individual nominator, then you approach state nomination. If you ask me the chance of success if I receive state nomination, chance of success for me to get invitation based on receiving state nomination, of course, it's likely to be higher because the priority list you are on, which is level 2 priority list. But again, you need to, of course, meet the national innovation requirement first. So this is a critical part of that. Now, we are really looking at some candidates say, I'm not entrepreneur, I'm not investor, so what am I going to do? Now, you can always apply EOI directly through the EOI form, or through online EOI form, which is for the National Innovation Visa EOI form. You simply type in Google, you're able to search that. If you look at it closely, you can see that's a limit of words you can put on the EOI form, and size of document you can put on the EOI form. So you can't just throw irrelevant information there. You need to provide for basic information such as a CV, right? You need to provide basic information, something like your achievement, online media, and things like that. your articles, Google Scholar, things like that. You need to provide them. Now, candidate asks us, do I need nominator when I provide application name? Again, that's not a mandatory requirement. If you're good enough, you say, I know everybody, now I'll figure out later on. The nominator part is this. Once you receive invitation, your EOI invitation is valid for 3 months only. 3 months only. If you fail to lodge your visa application, your EOI, your invitation will be expired. So if you ask me, say, I don't have nominator now, but I will have nominator 3 months later. Like once we receive invitation, are able to figure out. So why don't you figure it now? Yeah, because you have a time limit there. It is not mandatory requirement because that's not mandatory requirement for anything anyway. The requirement is we are wanting someone like that. The likelihood that you achieve that, the more you're likely to achieve that, your likelihood is that the more likely that you're able to receive invitation. So it's nothing about is that mandatory requirement? Do I need that or do I need that? You want to do something to enhance your chance of success. That's it. So it's not a requirement. So if some candidate, for instance, if they're really good enough, do I need to provide a lot of document? Probably not. If someone's well known, do I need to gather information? Probably not. Sorry. So for you to provide this to enhance your chance of success, when you fill out form or nominate to enhance your chance to be invited. Same thing as stay nomination. It is not about do I need a stay nomination, do I not need a stay nomination. It's really if you have a stay nomination, you will enhance your possibility to receive an invitation and the end permanent visa. So I hope this one help you. But simply click link, book a consultation with us, and see if I can help you.